What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be getting into my Week 7 NFL Power Rankings. It's crazy that time, but let's get into it. A crazy week of upsets and a lot of movement, even though we still had 4 teams on bye. But let's get into it. Starting with the number 32 team, Carolina Panthers, staying at the worst team in the league, in my opinion. Yeah, this is not going to change. The Panthers still have kind of a bad culture there. Even with Rule out, it just feel like that toxicity is staying, is still in their system right now. So they're still gonna have some work to do. They just traded away Robbie Anderson too. I know he was not happy at all. That doesn't help their talent wise either. This team just is a mess right now, just clearly tanking for a top pick this season. Number 31 on bye week this week. At 1-3-1, the Houston Texans just going to stay at the same spot, but on bye, hopefully that they can build off of that last win that they got. Number 30, we're going to have the Chicago Bears staying at the same spot, just losing to the Commanders this week. Tough loss. Justin Fields, he did not look good in this game after coming off a good game that he looked pretty solid in. Maybe it was just because he was on primetime. I don't know, but it's not looking too good to start out the year for Fields. And this Bears defense isn't good. I mean, they were able to hold the Commanders to 12 points, but that's not saying too much. It's just the Bears offense, man. This is just clearly an untalented team. We knew it from the start. And they're going to stay at 30. Number 29, we're going to have the Washington Commanders. 2-4, sneaking away with the win over the Bears. Yeah, I mean, the Commanders just, I don't really know what to say for the Commanders, even though they got the win. Carson Wentz is out now. I don't know if that helps them. I don't know if that makes it worse, but Taylor Heinicke is going to be coming in to play for them. But yeah, Washington, this defense, I'm not too convinced yet because they played the Bears, and their offense did not look good in that previous game. We're going to have to see what a Taylor Heinicke-led Commanders team looks like in this next week. But yeah, right now, the Commanders clearly a bottom feeder team. So just speeding quickly through that bad tier right there, just all those teams staying in that. A team jumping out of the bad tier, but staying at the same spot. The number 28 Steelers getting the upset over the Bucs. A big win for Pittsburgh in that previous game. You love to see it if you're a Steelers fan. This just shows why Mike Tomlin's such a good coach. He was able to hold Tom Brady and this team to not too many points. We're able to come up with a good game plan. Mitch Trubisky comes in that game. Looks pretty solid. So, I don't know, man. The Steelers got their second win of the year. Maybe Trubisky is the guy over Pickett. But yeah, the Steelers, a good win over a top team. In my opinion, a big win. So that's Pittsburgh. Let's move on to number 27. Just drop it down a spot. I know they're on there by the Detroit Lions at 1-4. Just because of a team jumping ahead of them from a big week. But yeah, Detroit, hopefully they can get that defense and that offense figured out after a very disappointing week against the Patriots. Couldn't really have asked for a better time for the Lions to have a bye week. Let's move on to number 26. We're going to have the Cleveland Browns dropping down 3 spots. Just got absolutely embarrassed by the New England Patriots. Jacoby Brissett still showing why he is a backup quarterback. He started out the year pretty solid. But yeah, he's showing why this team is a backup. He is a backup quarterback. And then this defense, this defense just really is not playing good. I mean, I was expecting a lot more. This defense used to be one of the best in the league. But yeah, this defense is not really good at all. They cannot stop the run for the life of them. It's just a mess on the defensive side of the football. With so much talent, they got to get some things going. So that's the Browns dropping down 3 spots. Very disappointing week. Then we have the Atlanta Falcons jumping up 2 spots, pulling off the upset this week over a injured San Francisco 49ers team. Big win for Falcons fans. They needed that one. You love to see it if you're a Falcons fan. But yeah, at 3-3 right now. The Atlanta Falcons, they're just sitting pretty, tied for the NFC South spot in the division. Even if they lost to the Bucs last week, they're right in this thing. Do I think this team's going to be able to continue the success? I'm not sure. I don't really think so. But we're going to have to see. A big win over a very good Niners team, even if they were injured. And Falcons fans will take it. Also, those new helmets that they got, those are sick. The retro ones that they displayed in this game. Maybe you need to wear those more often. Better luck for the Falcons. Didn't make them choke the lead. So you'll take it if you're a Falcons fan. All right, number 24, a team dropping into this. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think they're dropping. Yeah, they're dropping into this decent tier this week. Jacksonville Jaguars, very good start out to the year at 2-1. But then again, Trayvon Walker has definitely slowed down. He's had a tough few weeks. This defense, absolutely atrocious. Matt Ryan really hasn't been able to really throw the ball over anyone until he played the Jaguars defense. So that's kind of saying something for this unit. And yeah, Trevor Lawrence and this offense tried to get things going, but clearly the Jaguars still in a rebuild mode. They had a good, fun start to the year, but still it's rebuild time in Jacksonville. And these past 3 weeks have proven why. So dropping down 3 spots and into the decent tier. All right. We're going to move on into the In the Hunt. That decent tier just keeps getting slimmer and slimmer. The In the Hunt tier gets very, very wide. Starting out the number 23 team, we got the Seattle Seahawks jumping up 2 spots and into the In the Hunt tier. A big win this week over the Arizona Cardinals. Geno Smith still looking like a very good quarterback. That Cardinals defense has been surprisingly good. But yeah, Geno Smith and then Kenneth Walker comes into this game, has an excellent game on the ground for the Seahawks. But the more important thing is the defense really stepped it up this week for Seattle after really being a disappointing unit in the league through the first few weeks. I was debating putting this team in the Hunt tier if this defense continue, but Tariq Woolen is tied for the most interceptions to start of the year, has gotten 4 interceptions in a row. This defense, much better game from them against the Arizona Cardinals. So a big win for Seattle. They're going to jump up. And let's move on to number 22. We're going to have the New Orleans Saints. Has a bunch of injuries. They're going to play tonight, so they need to get some things under control. I think Andy Dalton has done a much better job with this offense than Jameis Winston. I think he probably should be the starter, honestly, at this point for them. But yeah, 2-4. This is a must-win game against the Arizona Cardinals, or their season could get out of hand pretty darn fast. With these injuries, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, all out. That really hurts for the Saints. So it's going to be a tough game this week. But the defense also very underwhelming, giving up the Bengals 39 points this week. And just the Seahawks a week ago, 32. So, yeah, this defense is not good at all for New Orleans. They need to get some things figured out. So that is the Saints. Let's move on to the number 21 team, the team playing the Saints this week and dropping down a lot, dropping down 8. The Arizona Cardinals. Really, Kyler Murray has not looked too good. He's looked like an average quarterback, believe it or not, through the first 6 weeks in the league. And that's really shocking for Kyler Murray and this team. You were expecting more out of them, but just could not get the job done this week against a division rival. The Seahawks were able to win that game. But yeah, man, Arizona, disappointing week. They got to get some things under control. DeAndre Hopkins, fortunately, is coming back, but they're losing Marquise Brown, it looks like, for a long time. And this defense has been surprisingly good at the start of the year. I will say that for Arizona, but I mean, they still need to get some things under control because this offense just has not looked good at all through the first few weeks. So that's Arizona. 20, we're going to have the Miami Dolphins. Tua is coming back, but I'm just going to still judge this team. I'm not sure how Tua is going to play, so I'm still going to judge this team with Teddy Bridgewater. Dropping down 6 spots. I just had too much faith in Bridgewater as a quarterback, I think, for the Dolphins. So they're going to drop down to 3-3. They're coming out their 3rd straight loss, just losing to the Vikings. This defense still a very solid defensive unit here in Miami. So they got that going for them. Tua's coming back. So things, don't let this drop it down 6. It's just because of the Dolphins losing a few games in a row. We're going to see what happens with Miami with Tua. They were really rolling with him in until that unfortunate injury. So hopefully he can come in, play like himself, like he did to start of the year, and this Miami Dolphins team will be just fine. All right, let's move on to number 19. We're going to have the New York Jets jumping up 3 spots and into the in the hunt here. Oops, it's doing that. Okay. There you go. Wow, a big win going into Lambeau Field and beating the Packers up by 17 points. This defense, Sauce Gardner, the rookie, looking very, very good. Diggs, they signed from the Seahawks this year. He has looked like a very good corner too. Robert Saleh really has changed this team around. They're taking receipts, and they took receipts, and it's coming to bite those people that were mocking the Jets, according to Salah, because he's turned things around. Zach Wilson didn't have a good game. Well, a great game this week. He didn't make any mistakes. They got Breece Hall, who had an excellent game, and that defense was enough to be a struggling Green Bay Packers football team. So that was enough for the New York Jets to get the win. You like to see it if you're a New York fan. All right, moving on to 18, a team dropping down 9 spots. Another disappointing week for this team, the Denver Broncos. Yeah, I mean, I really went on a rant last week about the Broncos, about Russell Wilson's struggles. I clearly had them too high to start of the year. I'm going to raise my hand. I do think this team can still turn things around. I do think it's an in-the-hunt team. I do think it's a very talented defense. Defense does not get enough credit for this team. They have held their team to just, 6 touchdowns through, or 5 touchdowns through 6 weeks or something. This defense, dare I say, elite here in Broncos country. But yeah, Russell Wilson and the Broncos, just another struggling week. And this week, I am not blaming Russell Wilson as much, because I'm just going to say this one drive in overtime that really made me mad about the Broncos. So the Broncos start out this drive, the first drive in overtime. They run the ball once. Okay, get a little bit of the ground going. They run the ball the second time. It doesn't really work. They're going to go on to a 3rd down and about 8, I believe. I thought that was. Literally all the receivers run straight routes down the field, and Russell Wilson just heaves it up. This O-line sucks. That is not a smart play call on 4th down. Nathaniel Hackett needs to be better. This is a horrible, horrible play calling. And then another one on 3rd down in the last drive of the second half. And if the Broncos got the first one, they could have gone down the field and scored a field goal, and that game would have been done. There was a pass rusher literally lined up. They knew he was going to pass rush. He was unblocked, and Russell Wilson, in a flash, like about 1 second, sacked. They have to punt it away to the Chargers. It's absolutely ridiculous. Russell Wilson, I know he hasn't lived up to his potential, but what is Nathaniel Hackett and the Broncos doing here? This O-line, I know they have a lot of injuries. It needs to be better, though. And this whole offense from top to bottom, I know Russell Wilson's getting paid a ton, but this whole offense, you cannot just blame Russ for this struggles. He's been on a team for 10 years. He's still going through some growing pains on his new team. This Broncos offense needs to figure out things, and they need to figure out things fast, because they're 2-4 right now. They had a full Thursday to Monday, a week and a half to get things right, and they couldn't get things right. They started out the game well. It just is mind-boggling. But like I said, the defense is keeping them in games. They just need to execute. And the Jets and the Broncos play this week, so we're going to see who takes each other on. But yeah, another tough loss on primetime for the Broncos. Drop it down 9 spots and really down quite a bit. All right, enough of the rant about the Broncos. Let's move on to number 17. We're going to have the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are going to be jumping up 2 spots. Matt Ryan, much better week this week. Was able to get some time. Unlike the Broncos, they were able to figure some things out. I know they're playing a very bad Jaguars defense, but they got their revenge. Ryan was just slinging it, even without Jonathan Taylor in this game. So if JT can come back for the Colts, this team can have a very good offense. Defense, though, been very concerning. I expected way more out of this defense through through 6 weeks in the NFL. It's just not a very good unit at this point. They got to figure out some things on that side of the ball, but the offense much, much better this week. All right, moving on to number 16, jumping up 2 spots just because of the Dolphins and the Broncos dropping down, coming off their bye. The Tennessee Titans 3-2. Tennessee coming off their bye. Nothing to talk about with them. Let's move on to number 15, jumping up 9 spots this time. Giving some respect to the New York Giants. Big week. They were able to come back against the Ravens. Now, I will be honest. Ravens kind of handed that game to the Giants. Let's be honest here. But a 5-1 team, you got to respect them for it. And I realize that now with a big win. This coaching is elite at this point. Brian Daboll, what a darn good job. This defense, their defensive coordinator doing a very excellent job for the Giants on this defense. And they've really turned this season, they've really turned a very bad year from last year around to a 5-1 start, utilizing Saquon Barkley very good. And I know the Ravens had a very tough stretch, but their offense was able to get the win. So that is the Giants at number 15 getting the win on their home crowd. I love to see Kayvon Thibodeau playing well. Shout out to him as well. He was a very good as a player that I believed in as an edge coming out. So he had a good game. So I'm proud of the Giants. I'm proud. They've really turned things around from a very bad last year and put in some respect, jumping up 9. All right. Number 14, it's been different this time around without these flip-flops. So number 14, the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott coming back. This team able to get the win. I mean, did lose to the Eagles, but Dak's back. Now, the reason why I'm not jumping up the Cowboys too much this week is because Dak really didn't look too well in his first outing against the Bucs. We're going to have to see if he can look better like the Dak we saw last year. Then this team is definitely a contender. I know the defense didn't let up 27 points, but in that second half, they played a lot better. I still think this defense is elite. The offense with Dak, if this O-line's been surprisingly solid for this team, and Ezekiel Elliott had a good game for the Cowboys on the ground. So you like to see that if you're a Cowboys fan. But yeah, we're gonna have to see what Dak looks like this week. This team could take a big leap next week if they have a good week. So that is the Cowboys. Let's move on to number 13, the last in the hunt team remaining, New England Patriots, jumping up 2 spots at 3-3, just completely obliterating the Cleveland Browns in their game. You'll love to see it. Bailey Zappi, wow, what a start for Bailey Zappi's young career. I know they're probably going to go back to Mac Jones eventually, but interesting the way Bailey Zappi plays. He feels like Davis Mills from last year. I know Mills has struggled for the Texans this year, so Patriots fans don't want to say that. But I'm not going to say that Bailey Zappi is going to be some superstar, but this team was able to run the football very good in this game. Defense did an excellent job against Cleveland Browns offense, held Nick Chubb to a very solid game, and the Patriots had another good week, and it just shows how Bill Belichick is such a good coach. Starting out the year 1-3, a lot of people counted him out, and he finds a way to win. So that is the Giants. Let's move on to number 13. We're gonna have the New England we just said that. Number 12, sorry. The Las Vegas Raiders off their bye, staying at the same spot. They are in the playoff tier now. I know they're 1-4, but I do think this team is one of the 7 best teams in the AFC. And we're going to have to see. I mean, their schedule is very manageable for the next few weeks, so I could see this team definitely getting back to 500. bye week, wherever it is when they win 3 games. I can't even think. Week 10, I think. Yeah, so that is the Raiders. Just got coming off their bye. Let's move on to number 11, the Los Angeles Rams. I know they won, but dropping down a spot. Clearly the O-line still a struggle, and they just played the worst team in football. So, yeah, really not to say about the Rams this week. They're still the same Rams, I think. This O-line still sucks. They have a lot of injuries here on that O-line. The defense has been underwhelming. That's just what the Rams are right now. They need to turn things around. And actually, in order to jump back up a lot, they're going to have to play a better football team. All right, number 10, dropping out of the contender tier, dropping down 3 spots, is the Green Bay Packers. I know I'm not dropping them down as much as the Denver Broncos, because I have a little bit more faith in the Packers right now. At 3-3, Aaron Rodgers and this Packers team needs to get some things going. Special teams had a bad game, of course. Block punt, block field goal. Just not a lot of things went the Packers' way in this game. Lost back-to-back against New York teams. I mean, it's got to be better in Green Bay. This defense has been very a letdown. They started out the game good, like they have for the past few weeks. And then in the second half, just suck. Defensive coordinator, I think it comes down to him. This team has so much talent on that side of the ball. It's got to be better. They weren't ever on the offensive side of the football, just weren't able to get the job done. It's rough down there in Green Bay right now. So they're going to stay in this top 10 spot, but need to be better in order for them to not keep dropping down, I would say. Let's move on to number 9. We're going to have the Minnesota Vikings jumping ahead of Green Bay now, jumping up 7 spots. And Minnesota, I think I just waited a little bit too much time to jump this team up. They were able to take care of business against the Miami Dolphins team. So Minnesota, Kirk Cousins, this team, just kind of what we think. Kirk Cousins, very solid offense. Justin Jefferson, they got Dalvin Cook, just are able to utilize a lot of players, and Kirk Cousins just plays a good game like he normally does. This team, though, hasn't played a very good football team since the Eagles on the Monday night, where they got absolutely demolished. But, yeah, the Vikings are 5-1. You got to put some respect on their name. They're winning football games, and that's why the Vikings are jumping up to the 9 spot right there. All right, number 8, moving on here, the Los Angeles Chargers, jumping up 3 spots. This team just loves to give their fans heart attacks for whatever reason. Just a lot of close games, and just had to have a muffed punt from the Denver Broncos in order to win this game from their kicker, who was injured in that one. So that didn't help either for Chargers fans. But they got it done on Monday night. Justin Herbert didn't play well, but he is still, I think, dealing with that injury that he had a few weeks ago against the Chiefs. We saw how good he looked against the Chiefs when he was healthy. A lot of injuries for Los Angeles, but really jumping up 3 spots because a lot of teams dropping down below them, and we're able to prove that they can win in a big way. So that's the Chargers at 4-2. Let's move on to number 7. We're going to have the Baltimore Ravens jumping up 2 spots here at 3-3. Big win for Baltimore. I mean, not big win, a big loss. Just the same concerns here. They just have choked away a lot of wins. All of their 3 losses, they choked them all away. This team could easily be 6-0 right now. But the defense, Lamar Jackson, struggling in that fourth quarter, gives the ball to the Giants, and the Giants were able to get it done. I know they're jumping up 2 spots. That's because of the Packers and the Broncos dropping down. I'm not going to hold them too bad for losing at New York on a red-hot New York team. Yeah, that's a disappointing loss for the Baltimore Ravens fans to carry, and they're going to sit at number 7. All right, that is the playoff tier. It is getting slimmer, and it is getting wider, and it could get even wider for the next few weeks because there's a lot of contenders on the ropes here. All right, number 6. We're going to have the Buccaneers, just a disappointing loss. You're clearly the better team. They're going to be dropping down 3 spots, by the way. You're clearly the better team over the New England. I mean the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like Tom Brady, this offensive line got to be better. Defense been very underwhelming. This is one of the worst offenses through the first 5 weeks in the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to be able to win that game on that side of the ball. And Tom Brady, he hasn't played too good to start out the year. So this 3-3 team for the Bucs gotta get some things going here. They get another. I do believe they get another easy matchup this week. I do think it's against the Commanders. So fortunately, that gets the Panthers. So fortunately, Tom Brady has some easy games. Fortunately, very fortunate for him lately. But yeah, we still need to see some things from the Bucs. We're gonna still need to see some more inconsistent play for me to drop them down all the way down to the playoff tier. But they're on the ropes right now. That's for sure. Another team on the ropes, the number 5 San Francisco 49ers. Just injuries have derailed this team, this defense. Very injured. It's disappointing, to say the least, for San Francisco that you get up all these injuries. But, yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think you should blame him for this. He's just playing like Jimmy Garoppolo. Fortunately, he's not turning over the ball too much, but there is some downside to Jimmy G. I wouldn't blame that loss on him. But the Falcons just were able to take care of an injured defense. Hopefully all these players can get back healthy. But, yeah, the Niners, I still believe in this team. But right now on the ropes are dropping down. They are staying at the same spot because of the Bucs dropping down. And I'm not sure if I want to drop them out of this contender tier quite yet anyway. So they're going to stay in the top 5. Let's move on to number 4. We're going to have the Cincinnati Bengals, a shocking 3-3 team to be in this position. Really crazy. This NFL's weird, but the Bengals, yeah, I do believe this team is a top 4 team with all these other teams doing horrible right now. Their offense looked very good against the Saints. Brady has really turned things around for this offense. Zach Taylor really has turned things around for this offense. Just calling better plays with Joe Burrow. He had a much better week against a Saints defense who has a lot of talent. I know they've struggled, but still has a lot of talent on that side of the football. So Cincinnati, I am not worried about them right now. Getting the win and are going to jump up 2 spots. Let's move on to number 3. We're going to have the Philadelphia Eagles handling their business against a Cooper Rush-led Cowboys offense. And yeah, that is what you like to see if you're an Eagles team. Undefeated still. You're jumping up spot and the best team in the NFC at this point. This defense has a lot of talent on the side of the ball. They've just proven that they can win in all the ways possible. Pass rush, pass coverage. They can throw the ball with Jalen Hurts. They can run the ball with Sanders. Or they can run with Jalen Hurts. Either he's a very athletic quarterback. So this Eagles team, I do believe, is the most complete team in the NFL through 6 weeks. And they're going to be number 3. But then we got the 2 teams here. I'm just going to throw them up. You know them. Kansas City Chiefs at 2 and the Buffalo Bills at 1. This game was a heck of a game. These defenses especially had played a lot better than I thought. But it just was that one mistake from Patrick Mahomes and this offense to give the Bills a win at the end of the day. It's been an excellent season for these 2, though, so far. And I do believe these are still the 2 best teams in the league at this point. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully you all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your power rankings. And anyway, peace out.